Hi everybody and welcome to another speed paint video. This one is about Miraculous Ladybug. And the fun thing, or the most interesting thing about this speed paint or this drawing is that this is actually a redraw of an older picture I did years ago. And you're gonna see the older pic at the very end of the video. But yeah, so I felt like this picture needed to be revamped. I still like the idea of it, but I felt like now that it's been a couple of years since I drew that picture, I felt like, you know what? I'm a bit more skilled now, so why not? So as you can tell, I have like different layers of sketches. You have like a body sketch, and then as you can see here, I'm now sketching the very cleaner details of these characters. When I draw fan art of characters that I don't regularly draw a lot, for example, Miraculous Ladybug is not something I draw heavily, but I do draw it sometimes. I tend to take longer during the sketching process. What I first do, I can't speak English. The first thing I tend to do is I kind of do like a stick figures, basic circles and squares and rectangular shapes to get the idea of the pose. Then I create another layer and I draw on top of my really basic sketch with kind of like more of like sausages and three-dimensional shapes that you kind of saw in the beginning of this video. And after that, I then add the details that correspond with the character. This requires me to take about like 3 layers of sketches. So I have a super messy sketch, a mid sketch, or mid messy, and then like the cleanest sketch you can possibly think of. For example, a sketch that I can probably post online and say, hey, it's done, you know? Now at this point, as you can tell, I am just doing the line art. I'm lining it out with a basic tool. I tend to use, what's it called? The airbrush tool. A lot of the times people ask me, what tool do you use? What levels do you use? And to be honest, I really don't know too much about it. I know for sure that I use the airbrush tool, and that I think the style of the brush is, what's it called? Ooh, I don't even remember right now. Ooh. Oh my gosh, I don't remember. Well, what if I remember, I'll bring it up. Sorry about that. Something about sound, or rough, or I don't know. Well, change the style of the tool, shape, so it's not a basic circle, and you'll get like different textures. And so that's what I do. And so that's what I do when I do line art. So at this point, I'm now kind of like coloring Marinette's skin, and I work, when I do more than one character in a piece, I focus on one character at a time. And look at those eyes! Look how cute those eyes are! They're so cute! And the reason why I work on one character at a time is to feel a form of satisfaction or completion while I work. I'm the type of person that needs to see that physically in order to get like this boost of energy to keep going. It's when because this one took a very long time to get done, you need those levels of like completion and satisfaction afterwards. So I work on characters one at a time, so when I'm done with one character, I can feel and I can definitely tell that, hey, I finished 1 out of 2 characters. That's like 50% is done already, so yay! And so I need to see that all the time when I work, so I can keep going. Because if I do everything, like all the skin in one time, or all the hair at one time, I find myself feeling that my focus is all spread out, and I don't feel like I'm actually completing anything. And it drags the process, and so that's what I do. And so yeah, it's like I'm in the end, I'm like really happy that I redrew this print. I did sell it at Anime Expo, and it did sell a couple of times, which I was really happy about. Not as much as I'd like to, but that's probably because I displayed it kind of like in the butt corner of my display, so it wasn't kind of like the showcase of it. But that's okay. But I'm gonna like refocus on those eyes here on Marinette. Her, like, the style of the show is like very different to the way I draw, but one of the key aspects of its style is, I think, honestly, are the eyes. They're very big, and when they're big, they're expressive. But then there are different shapes of eyes in the series, and so I want to make sure I do that. With Marinette, I always struggled with her eyes because of the way it was originally animated or produced. Her eyelashes are not like really heavy like the way I drew it. But what I did instead was I focused mainly on like the shape of her eyes and kind of what her eyes, in my perspective, like make an impact on me. So I wanted to do the same thing. So I focus on almond shaped eyes, heavy eyeliner to some degree, but also kind of kept the expression of kindness and hope that she like has as a character. So I'm really happy that it turned out to be that way. Now I'm really happy with the way I drew Adrian. Adrian is like the hardest character for me to draw for some gosh darn reason. This cute little bean, and I can't draw a cute little bean. So you're gonna notice in the older pic that you're gonna see at the very end is that Adrian doesn't look like Adrian in the older pic. He actually looks like probably Adrian 10 years older, and that's where I did it wrong. That's where I felt like I failed as an artist when drawing fan art for them. So I'm really happy with this one because Adrian doesn't look exactly like Adrian in the cartoon or / animated series, but he looks like a younger kid, and that's already a victory for me. And that's kind of like what I look for when I draw, when I create designs, when I do like prints or like just regular fan art. I always try to find kind of like little victories, because I did a question thing on Instagram, and one question was about like how do you, I think, either motivate yourself when your art is not exactly as how you want it to be. And like in a sense the tone of it was like, how can you be proud of your art when you're just disappointed at it? Well, the key thing for that is that the only reason why you feel that way is because you see only the negative side of your work. In order for yourself to grow, always find 3 good things in your artwork or in your work, and then 1 thing that you want to improve on. Because what happens is you end the day with 3 positive notes, but then as you leave your work or you leave like that drawing time period, you're taking a break, in your head you know, okay, there's 1 thing that I do want to work on though. So you feel more motivated that like, you know, I've gotten better on a couple of things, but there's 1 thing I want to work on and I can totally do that next time. It's that type of kind of like perspective that you need as a young artist or as an artist in general, especially for those who are like developing rapidly, you know. And this is kind of a skill set that I've learned as an education student. I'll be teaching music as my career in the future, and some of our classes pertain with education and how to inspire education, how to promote education, and to have the kids see that learning is fun. And the only way for you to really do that is to kind of cultivate 3 positives with 1 thing they can improve on. Don't say that they suck in something. Don't say that they're really bad at something. Instead, focus on the word improvement. That's 1 area that they have more opportunities to succeed at, to get better at. And that's kind of like what I'm trying to tell a lot of younger artists who ask me, hey, I suck at art, why are you so good? One of the things I wish I could tell them is like, don't tell yourself that. Don't tell yourself that you suck, because you're not. You're just, 1, you're younger than me, meaning that you have less time of experience to draw than me. You are still growing. You're like 12. Don't worry about it. And the best thing about being your age and being still like heavily interested in art, you have that wiggle room to succeed and get better, and you have that drive to achieve all of these different opportunities to develop your art style. So don't ever tell yourself that you suck. Don't ever like feel that you're not good at it. And I know I'm kind of like derailing a little bit, but yeah, even if you feel like you're not, even if you find yourself like demotivated, you don't feel proud of yourself, still always focus on 3 good things and then 1 thing you want to improve on next time. Not one thing that you're bad at, because if you're bad at it, you can't get better. So focus on the things you want to improve on instead. So that's kind of like the gist of it. I kind of stopped talking about the artwork. Oh, I'm so sorry. I started going in this ranty thing, but that's if that's the one big message out of this, then that's the one big message. So yeah, basically. So now you've seen both pics, the old and now the new. And I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe and let me know what you guys think about my videos in the comments below. So yeah, bye!